Okay, welcome to our Firemaw guide for raiding with core. You'll see Firemaw here in the back. I might not be able to catch him the first time around. The way we do this might be different to other guilds. We have Firemaw tanked here in between the gateway, with the tank standing here facing in towards the suppression room. I'll show you in a second how that's done and why we do this. We have melee at the start camped out here on the right hand side inside the Broodlord Lashlayer team, and we'll have both of the off tanks stood over here at purple. They will not be engaging the fight other than to taunt for flame buffet, or wing buffet, sorry. Then we'll also have a healing squad, which will be the main tank healers. Those are assigned by our healing leader, so just follow your assignment targets, who will be stood here in line of sight of the main tank healing him at all times. So why do we tank him in this corridor? The reason for this is that you can abuse line of sight. It's basically what this is. So melee only have to run from this star position into here where they can damage it and then run back. This makes it a lot easier to keep track of your debuff and not get overwhelmed by suddenly having 9-10 stacks and not being able to run out. Off tanks will be stood here and only taunt for wing buffet, because wing buffet reduces tank aggro and does a knockback. The knockback is the one that is most deadly here. So once there's 3 seconds left before a wing buffet, which will be shown by either bigwigs or deadly boss mods, you move in here, stand back against the wall to make sure that you get knocked directly back. I'll show you once I engage Firemaw in a second. The reason for this is that Firemaw is the first boss in here to cast Shadow Flame. Shadow Flame is a one-shottable ability, so it kills anyone who isn't wearing an Anuksha scale cloak. The initial damage from Shadow Flame is also so high that even casters who do use Cloak of Anuksha will still die. It is an absolute must-have item for tanks in this fight. Everyone else should not be using it. There shouldn't be a need to. If you get hit by Shadow Flame, you will probably die regardless, so it doesn't matter. Now Firemaw won't be so far forward that healers will be in line of sight of him. Everyone who's in line of sight or within 40 yards of Firemaw, I believe it is, will be hit by Flame Buffet, which is a stacking fire damage increased debuff. So this way, healers can free cast without having to go in and hide, and a tank will just be stood still here, tank and spanking all the way through. If a tank, for some reason, does get knocked back, we'll wait for a Shadow Flame to happen and then reposition. Whilst we're repositioning, it is important that everyone stays away in case we have a early Shadow Flame, just so that we don't kill off half the raid. The range on it is insane, and the cone is incredibly hard to control in terms of angles. So I'll just get ready to pull Firemaw here. I'll drag him into position like we would do it. Can I do this? He doesn't actually want to aggro onto me. There we go. So we would obviously have engaged Firemaw earlier on. This is only because of level difference from retail to classic. So the way we do it is, we drag him into this room, like so, and then turn him around. There you just saw Shadow Flame. This is why it's important to not get into range of him before it's properly positioned. So, if tank is stood here, he will be in line of sight for range, but for healers, but not in line of sight, so that healers are line of sighting Firemaw. You also just saw the knockback there, so I'll just try and show it here. So here, positioned again. Then, once I'm afraid wing buffet will land, an off tank will taunt it and stand like this. We'll just have a Shadow Flame first, and it should be 3 seconds, and we'll have a wing buffet. And you can just see the knockback. There we go. Knockback. I didn't even move. Once that happens, main tank taunts back, moves back into position. Main tank will always be stood in this position, sorry. And then we just continue killing Firemaw, and it's an easy kill. There you go, all the loot in the world.